More details emerge on the tragic hockey rink shooting. ICE opens new offices in Nashville, and Britain has a new political party and it's going viral. I'm Daily Wire Executive Editor John Bickley with Georgia Howe. It's Tuesday, February 17th. This is Evening Wire.
As we reported this morning, a tragic shooting at a hockey rink in Rhode Island left 2 dead and 3 injured on Monday. Police identified the gunman as Robert Dorgan, a trans-identifying man who went by the name Roberta Esposito, and said the shooting appeared to be a targeted family dispute. Authorities updated the press this afternoon.
One of the victims was his ex-wife, Rhonda Dorgan, and also his son, adult son Aiden Dorgan. Rhonda succumbed to her injuries on scene at Lynch Arena, and the son, Aiden, succumbed to his injuries after being transported to the hospital. We have 3 other individuals, Linda Dorgan and Gerald Dorgan, which are the parents of Rhonda. They are at the hospital now. The final victim was Thomas Geruso. He is a family friend of the family, and he is also in critical care at the hospital. At least 3 bystanders were able to circum the suspect. At that time, the suspect did reach for a second firearm, and he did inflict a self-inflicted gunshot wound, which is what he succumbed to on scene. We can tell you that he did have 2 firearms on him. He did have a license to carry out of Florida, so we are working to see if they had a license to carry anywhere else.
Check dailywire.com for updates as we learn more.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio delivered a blunt warning to foreign nationals seeking visas on Monday during a high-profile visit to Hungary. Daily Wire political reporter Cameron Arcan has the story.
Speaking during a joint press conference in Budapest alongside Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán, Rubio emphasized that entry into the United States carries conditions that extend beyond border screening.
I've said this repeatedly. I don't know why it's so hard for some to comprehend it, so let me repeat it again. A visa, no one's entitled to a visa. If you enter our country as a visitor and you undertake activities that are against the national interests and national security of the United States, we will take away your visa.
The comments come amid heightened scrutiny of foreign officials participating in political activism, campus protests, and media activity inside the United States.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez appeared at the Munich Security Conference and fielded heavy criticism after failing to answer basic U.S. foreign policy questions. Daily Wire reporter Zach Jewell has the details.
AOC appeared at the international conference amid speculation around 2028 Democratic presidential candidates, with the New York leftists often floated as a top contender. At the event, Ocasio-Cortez was asked whether the United States should send troops to Taiwan if China advances. This was her answer.
I think that this is such a, I think that this is this is, of course, a very longstanding policy of the United States.
Ocasio-Cortez eventually found an answer, stating that the United States should, quote, avoid any such confrontation. She later spoke to the New York Times and denied any presidential campaign connection to the event. She said it was, quote, out of touch to consider the Munich Security Conference an important gauge for the 2028 presidential election. AOC said she attended the event to warn about, quote, right-wing populist movements throughout the world. President Trump responded to the gaffe aboard Air Force One.
I watched AOC answering questions in Munich. This was not a good look with the United States.
Operation Stork Speed, a sweeping review of baby formula ingredients, is set to launch this spring. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. met with formula executives last year to discuss concerns about seed oils, heavy metals, arsenic levels, and how American formulas compare to stricter European standards. These concerns resonate with MAHA moms and have generally been met with broad approval. However, experts say it's unlikely that American infant formula will fully remove seed oils. In fact, all European formulas contain manipulated vegetable oils as a means to create synthetic fats more similar to the profile of mother's milk, including sufficient levels of linoleic acid. Experts claim at this time it's impossible to reach certain nutrient benchmarks without the use of these oils, but broad efforts to remove forever chemicals and other contaminants are being pursued aggressively.
ICE is set to open 2 new offices here in Nashville, Tennessee, but one of the landlords is not thrilled. The firm that owns and manages the building where ICE's Metro office will be located, Freeman Webb, said they were unaware who the new tenant would be. We spoke with Davis Hunt, the editor and publisher of Nashville's The Pamphleteer, for more.
Well, as the state considers legislation to align more directly with the Trump admin's immigration enforcement efforts, ICE purchased a facility to house detainees in Lebanon, Tennessee, which is about 30 minutes outside of Nashville. Meanwhile, within Nashville city limits, Democratic State House Rep Bob Freeman finds himself in the crosshairs for leasing office space to ICE Legal. In response to this, Freeman said, quote, "We would never knowingly lease our space to ICE. I've directed our lawyers to investigate all available legal remedies under the lease, and that work is underway."
Homeland Security spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin is leaving DHS. McLaughlin apparently planned to step down from her highly visible role back in December, but stayed on as ICE surged in the headlines. She has been highly visible, appearing on cable news and social media to defend the administration's actions. McLaughlin has not yet publicly commented on her departure.
The U.S. conducted its first air transport test of a nuclear microreactor on Sunday. Daily Wire reporter Tim Pierce has the latest.
Energy Secretary Chris Wright joined the flight on a C-17 cargo aircraft that carried the reactor without its nuclear fuel from California to Utah. This represents the first time a nuclear microreactor has been successfully transported by plane, paving the way for such reactors to be strategically deployed for military as well as civilian use. The Trump administration has seized on the concept of utilizing microreactors as a more consistent and reliable energy source in war zones or remote operations, issuing executive orders early last year aimed at further development of the technology. The microreactor transported on Sunday is a little larger than a minivan and can consistently generate up to 5 megawatts of electricity. That's enough to power over 5,000 homes. Secretary Wright said that 3 such reactors should be up and running by the 4th of July this year.
Starting something new can be risky. When we launched Morning Wire, we had all the usual fears. What if no one listens? What if we fail? But we're glad we took the leap, and you can too with our sponsor, Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform powering millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, including our very own Daily Wire shop. Getting started is incredibly easy with hundreds of ready-to-use templates. You can build one beautiful online store that matches your brand's style. Shopify is packed with AI tools that write product descriptions, page headlines, and even enhance your product's photography so you can accelerate your efficiency whether you're uploading new products or improving existing ones. Maybe you already know that you have a good product, but you need help getting the word out. Shopify helps you find your customers with easy-to-run emails and social media campaigns, making it feel like you have a whole marketing team behind you. You can tackle those important tasks all in one place, from inventory to payments to analytics, without juggling multiple websites or platforms. And if you ever get stuck, Shopify's award-winning 24/7 customer support is always around to help. Plus, that iconic purple Shop Pay button isn't just recognizable, it's the best converting checkout on the planet, which means more sales for you. It's time to turn those what-ifs into with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period today at shopify.com/wire. Head over to shopify.com/wire. That's shopify.com/wire.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker's cousin, Tom Pritzker, is stepping down from his Hyatt Hotel's corporate role after his ties to Jeffrey Epstein came to light. Newly released Epstein files show that Pritzker helped to find a job for a woman that Epstein referred to as, quote, "the girl from Romania that you met at my house." In a statement, Tom Pritzker admitted that he, quote, "exercised terrible judgment in maintaining contact with Epstein and Maxwell," and added that there's no excuse for failing to distance myself sooner.
Britain has a new political party, and it's already snapped up 10% of the national vote share after just one viral advertisement filmed at the founder's farm. Restore Britain, the party founded by former MP Rupert Lowe, split off from Nigel Farage's Reform Party in 2025 and launched a national ad just 4 days ago. The party's message is blunt: restore Britain to greatness by embracing and defending the core values and people who made it great. Here's a clip from the ad.
Britain is not just an economy. Britain is not just an idea. Britain is not just a passport. Britain is a nation. Britain is a people, our people. And Restore Britain will never allow that to be erased.
The unapologetic ad also includes pointed references to banning Islamic practices.
We will celebrate our Christian heritage and the identity that built and shaped this country. That will mean defending our culture. That will mean resisting the relentless creep of radical Islam. That will mean banning the burqa, outlawing Sharia law, blocking cousin marriages, and reimposing our Christian-based rule of law.
After dropping the ad, the party racked up over 50,000 members in mere days. Elon Musk reposted the ad on X, and it's being cheered by conservative nationalists globally.
Swiss curling athletes are calling foul on Canada. Daily Wire assistant editor Andy Valdez explains.
Canadian curler Mark Kennedy was accused of double-touching a stone during play on Saturday. Swiss curler Pablo Lasha-Kushpan was seen on broadcast saying, quote, "I don't want to focus too much on it, but he double-touched and the referee saw it." Kennedy denied any wrongdoing, saying, quote, "Who's doing it? I haven't done it once. You can F off." His language earned him a verbal warning, and he has since apologized for the outburst. Kennedy's stone was not removed from play, but the sport's governing body, World Curling, said 2 officials will be positioned to observe all deliveries starting with Saturday's games. Switzerland went on to defeat Canada 9-5.
An Australian political activist says Billie Eilish got him deported. Daily Wire entertainment reporter Amanda Harding reports.
Online provocateur Drew Pavla mocked Billie Eilish's Grammy appearance and anti-ICE rhetoric on social media, and now says he was deported from the United States over social media posts where he joked about moving into the singer's California home. Pavla claimed in a series of X posts that he was detained for roughly 30 hours at Los Angeles International Airport before being denied entry into the country. He speculated that Eilish's legal team contacted the Department of Homeland Security, prompting his removal. He wrote, quote, "I spent 30 hours at LAX immigration trying to explain that my bleep posts were just a joke and that I didn't actually plan to personally move into her mansion. Honestly, most of the agents were nice and laughed at the idea, but there was nothing I could do."
Civil rights activist and 2-time Democratic presidential candidate Jesse Jackson died Tuesday. He was 84 years old. Jackson's family announced his death on Tuesday morning. The family did not provide a cause of death, but Jackson was placed on life support in November after he was hospitalized for a neurological condition. Jackson is known for his work with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and was with him in Memphis when King was assassinated. He's survived by his wife, Jacqueline, and his 6 children. A public ceremony for Jackson will be held in Chicago.
And Hollywood loses a legend. Academy Award-winning actor Robert Duvall died at age 95. His wife confirmed he passed away peacefully at home, surrounded by family. Duvall's career spanned more than 6 decades and included To Kill a Mockingbird, The Godfather, Apocalypse Now, his Oscar-winning role in Tender Mercies, and his role in Secondhand Lions.
I fought in 2 world wars and countless smaller ones on 3 continents. I led thousands of men into battle with everything from horses and swords to artillery and tanks. I've seen the headwaters of the Nile and tribes of natives no white man had ever seen before. I've won and lost a dozen fortunes, killed many men, and loved only one woman with a passion, a flea like you could never begin to understand. That's who I am.
Known for his quiet intensity on screen and his independent spirit off it, Duvall left a lasting mark on American film. He's survived by his wife, Luciana.
All right, those are your drive home updates. To learn more about these stories, go to dailywire.com. And in case you missed it earlier today, we covered some major stories, including a high-stakes security conference in Munich, cooperation surging between ICE and local law enforcement, and the Pentagon pulling funding from an Army contractor with links to the Muslim Brotherhood. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow morning with another full edition of Morning Wire.